Hello and welcome to Casual Learning. I'm your host, John Bannan. Today, on this video, I'm going to show you how to make a great breakfast dish. This is the open face egg muffin sandwich. Now, this is sort of like a McDonald's egg McMuffin, except it's an open face sandwich and it's done a little bit differently. It's a very simple sandwich to make. Doesn't take a lot of time or effort, but it's very, very tasty. It's not like a McDonald's egg McMuffin. It tastes different than that, and you'll see why. But it's very good. It's great to serve with, let's say, hash browns. So the first thing you do is you toast some English muffins. So you get a packet of English muffins. These are sourdough English muffins. You toast them. They don't have to be darkly toasted, dark black, but they shouldn't be all white either. So I have my toaster set at 4.5. That's 4.5 on a scale of 6. So you figure out how many of these open-faced egg muffin sandwiches you want to make, and then you toast enough egg McMuffins, or I'm sorry, enough English muffins for that number. So in this case, I'm going to make as many as I have muffins. So I have 4 there. I've got 5 more halves. I'll toast them all and make them all. Now, the next step is once you have the toasted muffin, then you want to put it on your baking tray, and you're going to put a slice of Canadian bacon on top of it. And then after that, you're going to put a fried egg on top of that. So let's start working on the fried eggs. So I have a skillet here. It's not too hot, maybe 200 degrees at this point. And I want to cook my fried eggs in butter. So here's a stick of butter. Maybe I'll put a half a stick of butter in there. That'll melt it down. The butter will give the egg good flavor, as opposed to, say, oil. But when you're making, you're going to make your eggs over easy, and when you do that, you don't want to hear a frying sound coming out of your pan when you're cooking or you're frying that egg. That means it's too hot. So you want your egg to cook, but you don't want to hear that sizzling. If you hear sizzling when you're trying to fry an egg, you're making a mistake. Your pan is too hot. So don't use too hot a pan when making fried eggs. And another key to this is you want to make sure that you don't break the yolk in this egg, because you want the yolk to be runny when you open it up and eat the sandwich. So one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you use very fresh eggs, because eggs that have been sitting in the fridge for maybe a week or so, they tend to break down, and the yolks break much more easily when you're trying to flip them. So use fresh eggs when you fry eggs, and you're going to make over easy eggs. Okay, so here I have my toasted English muffin halves. Now you can see they're not, they're not super toasted dark, but they're not completely white either. So this is good. You don't want to make them too dark and crunchy, because then it's tough to bite into. So you want it to be closer to the soft side, but not soft like bread. You definitely want to toast it, because toasting gives it another layer of flavor. All right, so now I'm going to put my eggs in this pan, and I'm going to make 9 eggs, 9 over easy eggs. Make sure you get any shell out you might have accidentally put in the pan. Now that's good because I can't even hear that. That's what you want. I want these to cook slow, not aggressively, not in a pan that is too hot. That'll make them sizzle. I don't want that. And it's okay if the eggs run up against each other because you can separate them later on when they cook. And when you're cooking a fried egg like this, I would only use the butter once for one fry. And then if you're going to fry more eggs, then I would put new butter in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need one more. Okay, I don't even hear those eggs cooking. That's great. You can see they're turning white, so they are cooking, but they're not gonna overcook or cook too fast. Now, if you want to early on while they're setting, you can separate the eggs from one another, just pushing each egg white aside a little bit to sort of separate all these eggs, which makes the flipping of the eggs easier. And I think I put the temperature down a little too far, so I just turned it up to about 250 degrees. Now, in preparing this, what you want to do is you get yourself a pizza pan or a baking pan, and you put your English muffin halves on the pan. So just put them out like this. Then put a slice of Canadian bacon on each half. Now, hopefully you can find Canadian bacon in your store. Oh, I'm starting to hear the eggs bubble a little too much. You hear that? You hear that bubbling a little? It's bubbling. That's too much of a noise. So 250 was probably a little too high. So I'll put it down to 225. They're starting to set, so I'll separate them from each other. It'll make flipping them much easier. Because remember, the goal here is flip the egg over easy, but don't break the yolk. All right, so hopefully your store has Canadian bacon. This is a special type of ham. It's circular. The McDonald's English muffin or McMuffin has a slice of Canadian bacon in it. It's not regular bacon. It's not sausage. It's basically it's like a slice of ham. So you put a slice on each one of these muffins. So this is what a slice of Canadian bacon looks like. In the package, you probably get 10 slices. So just put it right on top. And the order in which you do this matters. So first is the slice of English muffin, then the slice of Canadian bacon, then the egg, then the cheese on top. It's got to be in that exact order, or this recipe doesn't work. Now, see, I have 2 extras. I'm going to have to open up another package of Canadian bacon. You can see my eggs are really starting to gel up. The yolks themselves are not cooked. That's good. You don't want to leave them on here too long, or the yolks will cook. So these are about ready to flip. So just gently go underneath them and flip them like that. Try not to break the yolk like I did right there. That's a boo-boo. I flipped that too hard. So I'm going to open up another package of Canadian bacon. I use these shears that you usually get with your knives. These are great things, by the way. Scissors are a great utensil to have in the kitchen. So I'm going to put more Canadian bacon down on those English muffin halves. Okay, so once you get the Canadian bacon down on top of the English muffin half, then you want to put the fried egg on it. Now, once you flip the fried egg over for over easy, it doesn't take very long, maybe a minute. You don't want to cook the yolk, so don't leave it on there long. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the egg and put it on top of the English muffin. It's okay to use your hands, provided your hands are clean and you wash them before you did all this. And I've washed my hands. Now, sometimes some of the egg spills over the side, and you can leave it like that, or you can adjust your egg a little bit to try to get most of the egg on the Canadian bacon. And then sometimes you can even flip some of the egg over, like let's say over here, you can flip it over, put it that way to make it neater. All right. Now, once you have your a toasted English muffin, followed by a slice of Canadian bacon, followed by an over easy egg with a runny yolk in it, then you put a slice of American cheese on top. Now, does it have to be American cheese, yellow American cheese like this? No, it doesn't, but this works wonderfully well. American cheese has its own unique flavor. It's different. It's not exactly like cheddar. It's got its own sort of flavor, and American cheese works wonderful on this. And yellow, especially since I think yellow actually has a different flavor than white American cheese, believe it or not. And for this, I prefer the yellow. It gives it a color which is nice. Plus, I do think the flavor is different. So I'm just going to put a slice of yellow American cheese on each of these. Now, it is important that you act quickly because you want to retain the warmth in these open-faced egg muffin sandwiches because you don't want to eat them cold. So you can't let them get too cold. So work pretty quickly. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take this and hopefully you've preheated the broiler setting on your oven. And you're going to put this in the mid rack of your broiler, your oven. Put it under the broiler. And in about 2 minutes, you're going to see that this cheese melts and then it gets a dark brown covering to it. And that's all flavor. So you want that. You don't want it to go to black because that's going to taste burnt. You want brown. So you want to brown all of this. And it'll, under your broiler, it'll take about 2 minutes. But it depends on how close it is to the broiler. And what you never want to do is leave that alone in the oven and forget about it. And just, come back 2 minutes later. Now, you got to keep an eye on it. Keep checking it every, 30 seconds. Because when this starts to melt and turn brown, it'll turn black very quickly if you don't pull it out of the oven. And don't leave it under the broiler. Once it's done, take it out, and then it's ready to serve. If you leave it under in the oven, despite the fact that you turn the broiler off, the broiler will still be hot, and it'll start to overcook this, and you'll get black, and you don't want that. You want a nice brown, has a nice flavor to it. So once it's brown, take it out, ready to serve with your hash browns, and you've got a tremendously delicious breakfast. Now, I made these earlier, and this is what they're supposed to look like. And a serving size could be 1, 2, 3. If you're really hungry, it could be 4. You can even, if you have extras, you can even put these in the fridge and eat them the next day. Just warm them up in the microwave. You'd be surprised. Even the next day, they're not that bad. So this is what they look like. And you serve them like that. Maybe put a hash brown next to it. And you eat it like this. You just cut into it. You see that raw egg yolk? And then you eat it. Wow. That is delicious. There's a lot of flavor. There's different layers of flavor in this sandwich, topped off with the sort of nutty flavor of the brown cheese on top. And it's an open-faced sandwich, so don't turn this into a McDonald's Egg McMuffin because they're two completely different types of sandwiches. This has to be open-faced, and it really is delicious. And that yolky, uncooked yolk center is really very important for this dish. You have the English muffin, the Canadian bacon, which has a flavor of its own, the yolk, the browned nutty cheese on top, the American cheese flavor. Wow, what a simple dish. What a delicious dish. This will be one of your favorite breakfast items of all time if you make it. Trust me, you'll love this. Okay, well, I'm going to finish my plate, put the rest of those in the broiler, and I hope you learned something. This is a great recipe. Here it is again, open-faced egg muffin sandwich. 1, toast English muffins. 2, put slice of Canadian bacon on top of muffin half. 3, cook over easy egg without cooking the yolk. 4, place over easy egg on Canadian bacon on the muffin half, the toasted muffin half. 5, put slice of yellow American cheese on top. 6, put under broiler mid-rack for about 2 minutes. until brown. Then you serve. The whole process maybe takes 10 minutes to make one of these. It's excellent, it's delicious, and you will enjoy it. So I hope you learned something, and take care.